Meanwhile, yes, he's a camera person, he's a husband. We are in our new backyard. You'll hear the sounds of suburbia, the tweeting of birds, the low whisper of a chainsaw. And this week's genius recipe, as soon as I saw it, I thought it was probably the prettiest salad that I had ever seen. It turns out that it's also a super smart, simple, and surprising way to get the most out of your grill. This week's genius recipe comes from Itamar Srulovich and Sarit Packer's beautiful new book, Chasing Smoke, and we will get to hear more from them in a little bit. Oh, and for all of the genius recipes, don't forget, shut up. Shut up.
Stop.
Oh, I just thought of something. We better start dealing with that grill.
Let's deal with this grill. All right, when do we deal with the grill, everyone? When should we start dealing with it?
Oh, and for all of the genius recipes, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. That's it. Here are Sarit and Itamar to tell us more about where this recipe came from. Would you mind sharing the inspiration behind this particular recipe?
So in lots of places in the Middle East, pretty much everywhere we traveled, people use half an onion to clean their grill. And so the first thing you smell when you go to like either a grill house or someone grilling would be that kind of charred onion. And it's very kind of like a mouth-watering smell. And then there's always be an onion sort of on a skewer on the grill served with your grill. And it's often the tastiest bit.
We have a grill ready with a high heat side. I can hold my hand here for about 3 seconds without having to pull it away. I'm just gonna oil these up and throw them on the hot part of the grill. The great thing about onions is that all over the Middle East and India, they are used to clean the grill grates. So we can do that a little bit first. And then you're left with this great ingredient that you should not just treat as a cleaning supply, but something that you get to eat in a beautiful salad. You could use a brush. I'm using my fingers. That's fine. Those are going to sit and char, like really, really char, for 12 minutes, give or take. You may notice that I'm leaving the cover up. The onions, as long as the grill is hot enough, are going to cook all the way through. Plus, we're gonna flip them for a last like 5 minutes to finish cooking through the other side. Oh, by the way, this is a half recipe because we are but 2 people. 1 onion per person seems like enough.
Seems like a lot, no matter what.
So yeah, this is the perfect time while we're waiting for those to really char to make the dressing over here. So it's a very simple dressing, and it has maybe some contenders that you would not expect to see. Some fresh sage, 5 leaves for the half recipe. I'm gonna stack those up, roll them really tight. Oh, and we're gonna need some boiling water. So I'm actually just going to boil the water right on the grill in this metal heat-safe measuring cup. We'll see how hot I can get it. I need to toast some walnuts, which I can do in a cast iron pan right on the grill. Some honey. Okay, a little white wine vinegar. Whoop. Some olive oil. Some salt. Some mild chili flakes. These are Aleppo. All right, should we check on these onions and these walnuts, I guess? Not looking toasty yet, but these, let's see. Ooh, yes. That is what we want, full char. This one, not full char. Let's get it all the way there. Now another 5 minutes on this side just to finish cooking them all the way through, and they're done. Look, my water is already starting to steam a little and get some bubbles. This recipe is perfect for when you have one of those moments where you're like, I want to grill, and then you get your grill all fired up and you're like, wait, I've got the grill going. What else can I throw on here? cut an onion in half, throw it on. Last night we were kind of the opposite. We were making this recipe specifically and we wanted to round out the grill and make a whole dinner. Just threw some bratwurst and some corn on there. And we had a whole grill dinner in like 30 minutes.
So about this charred onion, how do you know when it's done?
Well, part of the whole game is patience. So with cooking the onion, you have to really have a bit of patience and a bit of belief that it's going to be okay. So set it on the grill, set it face side down, and don't touch it for at least 10 minutes. It will cook, and you want it to really create like a charred surface. And remember that when you break it up to petals, it's only going to be a small outline that's actually burnt, and that's what you want.
Ooh, yeah. So these should be soft enough to slide a knife in, but not super soft because you want them to still be able to hold their shape, because they are going to need to cool enough so that you can pull apart all of these beautiful layers into petals. So Street and Idemar say they should just be lightly crushed. You could chop them if you want, but this is fun. And I think this really brings out all of the walnut oils. Don't you think?
I've always said.
Yeah, you've always said that. This really is the last ingredient for the dressing, I think. So I learned this trick from Kenji Lopez Alt for keeping herbs fresh for a really, really long time. You can do this in a jar and like cover the whole thing with a plastic bag, storing them like flowers. Got a little water down here, but he does this, he completely seals it off in a deli container like this, and I've had this mint for a week and it still looks amazing. All right, so this is gonna be just before serving, so it stays fresh. I have to say, we are being very mindful, and I hope that you'll be mindful of where you're doing your grilling. We blew all the dry leaves and brush away. We have a fire extinguisher nearby, being very careful. And read in Street and Idamar's book, they go over how to improvise with your grill, but safely. Okay, we have our cooled onions, and you can see they have held together beautifully because we left the core intact, we left the peel on. This is where it's not just easier to not chop your onion, it actually is a better result. So we'll get to peel away all this papery stuff. You see how you go from it looking totally burnt to a crisp and almost like a fossil. When you pull it apart, you see that it's really just this one little line of char, and the rest is this beautiful, like smoky, steamed, softened and sweet, but still slightly crunchy onion cup. Actually, everything in Chasing Smoke, there is instructions for using a grill versus using a grill pan on the stove. The grill seems to get a bit hotter through and through, so I would say just make sure that your onions are not raw-ish inside, but you can still get really beautiful charred results. You just need a good vent or a good way to air out your house. Okay, now at the very last minute, we add in the fresh mint. So you've got these like woodsy notes of the fresh sage and the walnuts that have been steeping in the dressing, and then the bright fresh mint is going to be at its most vibrant still when you stir it in right at the end. And then look at this. So I'm making sure to get all of this dressing relatively evenly dispersed in all of these cups, because I want each little cup to get all of the goodness of the dressing. Now, if you're wondering, okay, this is lovely, but how on earth do we eat this thing? Do we use a fork and knife? What happens here? Here are Sarit and Idemar to tell us their very favorite way to eat the salad, and mine too.
So I think what's really important is like to use these petals as a way to convey delicious things into your mouth. And you can do it. It doesn't have to be this amazing recipe that comes with this, which is walnuts and sage and mint, and it's got loads of flavors and complexity. You can just use these onion petals and scoop up like a beautiful dip, beautiful baba ganoush or some tahini, and you can just like, it's just like a little vessel, a little spoon replacement.
Yeah.
That is so delicious. You've got this sweet, mellow slightly crunchy onion cup, just cradling all of these exciting flavors. The char around the edges, the like woodsy notes of the sage and the walnuts. You've got the kind of slightly tangy dressing from the mild chili flakes and the vinegar. Olive oil to mellow it out, fresh mint to brighten it up. So many good things. Such a fun way to eat it. People will be very excited. They might be a little confused at first and then very excited, and they will be very excited to talk about what a genius you are. Tell me, what are your favorite things to grill? Do you grill big chunks of onion? Do you grill big chunks of other things? What is the most unexpected thing that you have ever thought to throw on a grill? Tell me about it in the comments. Thank you so much. We will see you in 2 weeks.